Live.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Oh, I don't know what this thing is. I think it's a strip show, dance show.
Work there, dude.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, this week in little kids breaking into things, and also a new probiotic that cures hangovers, and why a man threw $200,000 on a highway, and hey, how did this 9mm get in my quesadilla? All this and much, much more will be discussed here on Deacon Live. How are you? How are things? How are things going? Are you doing okay? If you can see me on the camera here, I just caught the backside of my head in the camera. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I got a haircut. So now you can see me. I got my haircut. My wife likes to do me the mohawk style, and it's not your traditional mohawk. It's, you know, whatever the top crown of my head all the way to the back. Some call it a mullet. I don't know. My wife seems to like it. She's the one who cuts my hair. I'm not going to argue with her. She's the one that's got to look at me, and you guys got to look at me as well. And you can see me by going over to YouTube. Actually, you can see all our social contacts, and the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio, click on social contacts, and you can see all our social links. That links us to you, and you to us as well. And yes, our YouTube channel is over there, and you can see me here in the studio. Hi, and you can see my new haircut that I got going on. It looks okay, you know. I just got to get rid of this fat back roll of my neck that I caught the other day looking at my camera. It's nice when you have cameras here in the studio because sometimes you can't see the back of your head. And if you move the camera just right, guess what? That's what you look like when you're leaving the room and you're just like, ugh, gross. Now, speaking of leaving, my wife, sorry, ladies. No, she hasn't left me. She's actually left for the week. She took a business trip, went up to Minnesota. And she's been up there for work. And this is the first time since, you know, the whole thing where she's been working from home. I think this is the first time in God knows how many years that she's actually had to go into an office and actually have to do work. You know, it's a big to-do meeting up there in Minnesota. So she's up there for a week. She left Sunday night, Monday morning. The days all rushed together. I can't tell. What's today? I have no idea. And she comes back late Thursday night. So with that being said, you guys know exactly what happens when my wife leaves town and what I do. Yes, I do absolutely nothing. I am the biggest loser. I am total bachelor week. You know, my dad's been living with us now since my mom's passed away. And I sit there and I'd watch my dad heat up these frozen dinners. And I'm like, Dad, why don't you make something for the week? Why don't you make like a spaghetti or a meatloaf or something that you can eat on all week long? He's like, well, you know, it takes too long to make it. And then I get bored with it. And I'm like, but you're just wasting all this money. Now, fast forward to me now that my dad's lived with me. What do I go to the store and buy? I bought 4 cans of ravioli. I got like a couple bags of chips to snack on. What else did I buy? I bought some stuff to make gravy for I was going to have some kind of biscuits and gravy in the morning. And I was living the bachelor life, or I am living the bachelor life for now. And now I kind of realize, yes, I don't need to make these big extravagant dinners because normally I make it for myself and my wife. And, you know, both of us will eat off of it. But when it was just me now, I understand it. I understand it now. I'm not going to mock him anymore. I'm not going to give him a hard time anymore. My wife gets the factor meals, which are if you're on like a keto diet or a low carb diet or something like that. They are about as big as a tablet, you know, like your Apple tablet that you have. And they're fresh. They're frozen, but they're fresh. I mean, they're designed for keto people. And, you know, if you pass a coupon to someone, you get, you know, that someone gets a free week or $100 value of meals. And usually $100 value is like 8 meals. So she passed it to me. And so I picked out 8 things. You know, you pick out the meals that you want. And I picked them out and they came here and I had one and then I had another. But, you know, while my wife's been away, but now I understand. Now I understand a little bit better now, I should say, as far as, my dad getting these little, but he tried the factor meals at one time. He's like, how much are these for 8 of them? I said, I think it's like $120 if you want to get, sometimes they run a special. He's like, Jesus Christ. He holds up like the Marie calendars, the big pot pie looking thing. He goes, these are 2 for $5. I go, and I flip the box over and I go, yeah, they're also 750 calories each. And I look at the back of the factor meal, and I think the most calorie one that I got is like 575 calories. So, what are you paying for? Are you paying for a big meal, cheap food, or are you trying to buy better quality of food? Now, I would buy better quality of food at my stage of my life. My dad's, 76 years old. I don't think he needs the better quality of food, even though I wish he would. But, he's 76 years old. He's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants. So, yep, my dad and I have been bosom buddies here on the property. He's helping me while my wife's away. You guys know we have horses and we have this big property to take care of. Normally, my wife and I, we help each other and we do that together. But when you're doing it yourself, it takes a little bit longer. So I got to stop doing that. And so my dad was like, hey, I'll help. So basically, I taught my dad how to do my job when we do the horses and move the chickens and rotate the horses on the pasture. And then I was doing my wife's job. Not as good as my wife, but nonetheless. So we've been bosom buddies for this is day number 4 now. So I got one more day and a half, and then my wife comes home, and then everything will go back to normal. Right? Yes, I shake my head. Yes, it will. All right, guys, we got a big show to get into and lots to talk about. And I want to talk about this barn find that they had out in the Netherlands, what they found in this barn. It's incredible, the amount of stuff that they found in this barn that answers a lot of questions. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to... Oh, there we go. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. We'll give you something for free. But what you got to do for me to get this free item or free items is go over to prophetradio.com. That's PROPHET Radio. Proud sponsors of Deacon Live. At the top of the page says contact. Actually, at the top of the page, I believe it says free swag. Click on that. There's a whole bunch of different packs you can get. Click on one of those, fill out that little form. It's not an email grab, believe me. It's not some kind of, we're going to send you a spam mail. We're going to figure out where you live or anything like that. It's just Prophet Radio's way of saying, thank you for listening to us. Thank you for giving your ear. And we'd like to thank you by giving you this stuff as well. So there's some magnets, some stickers, some buttons, a whole bunch of neat things over there. So check that out. Pick out a package you want, and they'll send it right out to you. Now, the U.S. Postal Service has now warned, those guys, people bring you your mail. The USPS warns against using their blue boxes for putting in your mail. You know what they look like? They look like kind of a retro R2-D2 looking thing, and you see them, especially in big cities. You'll see them laying around. I say laying around, they're bolted to the floor. But what they're saying is, be careful when mailing your stuff out. All right, let's find out why. When you have a stamped letter that you want to send, you can't always take the time to go down to the post office. Now, the USPS is warning that their would-be mailers are robbing these blue boxers. Boxers. These would-be criminals are trying to break into the blue boxes. What they're doing is they're trying to break in there and steal your identity. The biggest variable... Oh, shit. The Postal Service explains in a press release that their blue bins have become a hotspot for criminal activity looking to steal residents' identities as well as mailed checks. The crimes tend to happen in specific times on specific days. The agency said the biggest variable enticing these criminals to steal a customer's depositing mail into the blue collection bin is after the last time of the collection on that day, during the holidays, or during Sundays. So let's say, I got to get this letter out, and it's Sunday. I'm going to put this thing here in the mailbox now. and they'll pick it up on Monday morning. Well, they're breaking in there and stealing it and stealing your identity. Since the mail theft have become a big issue, the Postal Service is hoping to incentivize, try to get customers to help them to end it. They're offering award up to $10,000 for anyone who submits a tip that helps them lead to the bad guys that are doing this. And if you'd like to call in a tip or anything like that, you go to 877-876-2455, and you can report these crimes as well. So, yeah, the trusted box, that blue box that's out there, they're saying be careful. You can still use them, but what they're saying is look on there. It's printed that there's a time, like last pickup is, let's say, 4:45. You look at your watch and it's 5:15. Don't put that letter in there because it's going to sit in there all night long until they do their first pickup in the next morning, which is usually 7 a.m. So they got from 5:15 when you put the letter in all the way to 7 a.m. with all that information in those boxes they'll break in there and get. Now, in this week of little kids breaking into things, a boy got trapped inside a claw machine after climbing in to get the prize in North Carolina amusement park. Hey, that's us. Carowinds, which is right down the road from our house here. Carowinds officials were alerted just before 2 p.m. on Sunday, April 16th, that a boy was inside the Cosmic XL bonus game, which contained plush prizes, according to Courtney McGarry. Yeah, Courtney McGarry, a spokesperson for the park. Medical response teams unlocked the machine and the boy was able to get out. Now, if he got in there, how can I get my plush toy? What if you didn't know that the kid was in there? Like he fell down in there and then someone comes by and you're like looking at the plush toys and look, and there you see like a little, have you ever seen E.T. when he was in the closet trying to fake like he was part of the plush toys, and you get the little arm and you go down and you pick it up. Oh my God, we got a baby. It's a it's a boy. I wanted a girl. He'd let it go. Drop it back down. The boy has been banned from the park for 1 year for attempting the theft. Well, how old was the boy? It doesn't say. I'm sorry. A 13-year-old boy has been freed from a claw machine after he climbed inside hoping to score a prize. So there you go. 13 years old. 13, that's not a little boy. That's a teenager. He knows right from wrong. And I guess he believed that he wanted those prizes. For what? A plush toy to impress his girlfriend or something? Who knows? Now, in Washington, D.C., a curious toddler on Tuesday earned the title of one of the tiniest White House intruders to ever squeeze through the metal fence on the north side of the executive mansion. The U.S. Secret Service informed the Secret Service uniformed division officers are responsible for security at the White House walked across the north lawn to retrieve the tot and reunite him with his parents on Pennsylvania Avenue. Access to the complex was briefly restricted while the officers conducted the snatch and grab of the kid. Officially, officers briefly questioned the parents before allowing them to continue on their way. Now you say, well, how did a little kid get through there? Over the years, the White House security system instantly triggered... While the White House security system instantly triggered the Secret Service officers, and the toddler and the parents were then quickly reunited. This may be the first intrusion on a complex since the White House fence was doubled in height, roughly 13 feet now in recent years, and a series of security breaches. After a series of security breaches. While taller, the new fence has an additional inch of space between the pickets, for a total of 5.5 inches wide between each post. Older children have sometimes been stuck in the iconic barrier, but most of them have been scenes of demonstrations with protesters chaining themselves to the fence. So a little kid got away from his parents, a little 5-year-old. If you, there's the kid right here. And don't forget, for every podcast we have a matching video. If you want to see this little kid, look at him and make sure I got the camera forward on. Yep, here he is. Look at him. He's a little kid. He's a kid. He's a little baby kid running around. How old they say he was? 5 years old? Doesn't say how old he was, but anyways, he snuck right through. He's probably 3 years old, enough to wear pants and wipe his butt, as a friend of mine used to say. If he can wipe his butt, he's good. I don't know why he said that, but anyways. So he snuck through the fence and got on the White House lawn. So I say tase him and throw him in jail, right? What did he do that a whole group of people didn't do? Oh, I know. We can debate that round in circles. All right, guys, when we come back, hey, what's all this money doing on the highway? Can I have it? Sure. Help yourself is what the driver says. I'll get into that story here when we come back. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. We would like to hear from you, and the way you can be part of the show at any time, you can go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on the very bottom right-hand side of the page, says Be Heard. Click on that. Opens up a microphone, and you can speak right into your tablet, right into your PC, right into your phone, wherever you are listening to us at or on. Speak right into it. You can be anonymous if you want. If you want to ask us any questions, if you just want to give us a shout-out, if you want to say, hey, happy birthday to my friend Luigi. Hey, Luigi, hey, take it up the, hey, cool, gumba gumba goo. Or whatever they say over there, over on that side of the state or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's just like, what are you talking about? So yeah, and you can be right here on the podcast with us, and you can be podcast famous as well. Hey, Ma, that's me on the radio. I told you I'd be somebody. I'm on the Deacon Live show. Hell yeah. Now, these guys right here have become famous, but for a different reason. And God almighty. In Picayune? Is that how you say it? Picayune? Picayune, Mississippi? Somewhere like that. Police officer found a gun during a traffic stop in an unusual place. Officers reported pulling a vehicle over for a traffic violation at approximately 12:30 on Friday afternoon. The police said that the passengers hid a handgun inside a quesadilla that was in a Taco Bell bag. While searching the car, police allegedly found liquid heroin, drug paraphernalia, and methamphetamines. Reports say that the passenger, Devin Mitchell, was taken into custody and charged with possession of controlled substance, tampering with physical evidence, and possession of a weapon by a felon, possession of paraphernalia, and possession of controlled substance with the intent to distribute. So he tried to hide his gun into his Taco Bell bag. So if you got pulled over, normal traffic stop, right? Let's say he was speeding. What happened to where it led to him being searched in the vehicle? Was he acting crazy? Was he acting weird? I don't know. The article doesn't say. But, when I see a Taco Bell bag and you got all this other stuff, now you can tell if the bag's been crumpled up a couple times, open and rolled down, open and rolled down. Maybe that's what he was. And you can see this gun. Let me switch cameras here. Camera 4 again. You can see this gun right in the middle of a quesadilla. It's on the outside, so there's not like cheese or taco meat all over it. So there you go. He hid his gun in a Taco Bell bag. Now, police warn you not to pick up any folded dollar bills that you find in your yard. Why not? It seems like free money, right? You would think that if you found money in your yard, it would be your luckiest day, but not always the case. Now, here's a story I'm going to get into. I'm going to call bullshit on this one. I think it's one of those, check your candy before you eat it at Halloween time, just in case there's needles in it or razor blades or something. Listen to the Lane County Sheriff's Office in Kansas and what they have to say. They posted on Facebook, in recent years, there's been numerous reports of people discovering folded $1 bills containing illegal or potentially dangerous drugs while using folded money or paper to transport the drugs has been a long common practice. And the emergency of substance such as fentanyl has made it exceptionally hazardous, is what the post on Facebook said. The Post went on to say, earlier this afternoon, a citizen contacted an on-duty deputy to report they have found a folded $1 bill in their yard. Really? Hey, you want to send the sheriff's department over here? Why? There's a folded $1 bill in my yard. All right. Upon unfolding it, a white substance spilled out. The bill was confiscated and field tested for positive for methamphetamines. Further field tested, opioids and fentanyl were negative. The police ended with a warning stating that it's very important to remain vigilant about potential hazards in your surroundings. So there's a folded $1 bill. I mean, I understand. Well, I say I understand. I know people would buy something and the only thing they had to carry it in was like the cellophane around a cigarette. You know, when you buy a pack of cigarettes, they take the cellophane out and they put whatever. Here, give me a rock. Give me a rock. And they stick it in the rock or the rock inside the bag. Only from experience, not personal experience, but being around drug addict friends. And then, yeah, I could see that. You know, dollar bill, yes, I would see that as well. It's not the first time that the police have been warned about this very thing. Other departments have posted similar instances where to alert residents in the dangers of handling fentanyl. I think it's a big scare tactic is all it is. However, according to the American League of Medical Toxicology, skip that. Fentanyl, they said fentanyl can be absorbed through the skin, accidentally inhaled. It can also occur if you open up a dollar bill with all this stuff in it. Just touching fentanyl or accidentally inhaling the substance during an enforcement activity or field testing, the substance can result into absorption. Okay, yeah, so we've seen all that. So I think it's just a scare tactic. Hey, if you see a folded up $1 bill, don't touch it. Just run it over the lawnmower and then poof, right out into the bagger, right? Screw that. Now, this guy right here said screw that too. Police say a 70, where the hell did I get that number? Police said a 38-year-old man driving down the highway was throwing out over $200,000 of cash from his car along the interstate in Eugene, Oregon. It's a cash giveaway on the highway. Look at these people counting the $100 bills, which has been thrown from the window of a speeding car. Police said the 38-year-old driver was dumping cash out like he's throwing out playing cards. And get this, the cops said that he drained his family's bank account and then proceeded to literally throw it out the window. We good? Yeah, okay, just checking. In an interview, Inside Edition interviewed this guy who said that the driver was driving up and down I-5, dropping tons and tons of cash out the window. Word spread fast. Some friends called me and said they got $2,000. One woman is searching for wayward bills on the side of the highway stills. They left their car on the side of the road, and as traffic was whizzing by on their quest to claim the unclaimed money. Just a handful of people wondered if this was the right thing to do. Now, we have one of the people who picked up the large amounts of cash pulled over the side of I-5, wanting to know what to do with the money. She called a state trooper and said, hey, this money's out here. I found it. What should I do with it? The next morning, stragglers were still looking for a few bucks on the side of the highway. So the dude who was caught, well, not caught. The dude who said to have tossed out the family bank account has been identified as Colin Davis McCarthy. State troopers say he does not face any theft charges because of his name on the bank. His name was, State trooper said that the guy isn't in any legal trouble because his name was on the account. He had the right to throw the money away, as crazy as this sounds. The family says, even though the odds are long, they're asking anyone who found the cash to please return it to the Oregon State Police because that money is very much needed by their family. $200,000. He dumped his whole entire family's bank account. Boy, they must have had like a fight or something, really pissed them off. I'm transgender. No, you're not, Tom. I am. Call me Ruby. You're not Ruby, you're Tom. I'm going to take this $200,000. $200,000? You got $200,000 just laying around in a bank account? Now, I don't want to say that, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money anyway, but just sitting around in a bank account shouldn't be earning or doing something for you. I'm just saying that's the business mentality that I have. Why would you just have $200,000 sitting in a bank account that is easily accessible for one person to go in there that's on the bank account and run off and run down the road with it? You never know. Something might have happened. And, they left that money, like they might have sold a house and they got the funds for the house in there. I don't know. They just haven't figured out what to do with it yet. All right, guys, stick around when we come back. Are you tired of hangovers? Well, this company in China has figured out a way to prevent or cure hangovers. And we'll dive into that here when we come back. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social contacts, and the way you do that is go to Prophet Radio, PROPHET radio.com, and click on social contacts, and you can see all the links that links us to you and you to us as well, and they're a proud sponsor of Deacon Live. And don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video. And just a little inside note, the video is not edited, so you see all my little mistakes. You see all the little stuff, me beating myself in the head because I can't read a freaking line in a news article. So you can see all that over there. You can see the frustrations and what it actually takes to actually sit behind this microphone once a week. I know it sounds simple and whatever, but you see all the little things and the nuances of the show over there on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe over there as well, and we appreciate that, and so does Prophet Radio. Now, one thing that I can't stand is when it happens almost like clockwork. This time of year, 3 o'clock in the morning, of course, everyone wakes up. We all know that. Everyone, most of America has problems sleeping at night. And for some reason, the witching hour is always 3 o'clock. And when I wake up, go to the bathroom or whatever I have to do, lay back down, all of a sudden, now everything from my eyes and everything are draining. Now, you're going to call me a pussy. Pussy! I wear earplugs with Vicks Vapor Rub in them. It helps me breathe. It gets down the ear, mouth, and throat holes down into my lungs and stuff. And I also wear a mask, a sleep mask. And it's nice because the mask that I wear has like this padding around the socket to where I can open my eyes up in the mask. It's not pushing on my eyeballs. I can actually open my eyes up and, blink or whatever and then close my eyes. And it doesn't interfere with the mask. Now, the drainage, I just sit there and I'm breathing in, for at least a good 45 minutes. It's, I know. Gross. Sorry. ASMR right now. But as I'm breathing, it feels like I have a web, like this mucus web in my throat. And I'm like, if I don't get this up, I'm not going to be able to go back to sleep. So eventually I sit up, let everything kind of drain down, sit there for a little bit, get it all out of my system, lay back down, and then I'm good to go. But one thing that happens out there is your nose gets stuffy. Now, if you're breathing right now, take a deep breath through your nose. Chances are only one side of your nostrils working. Well, that's what we are. That's what we do. One side works at one time and then they trade off. They're like buddies. They're like roommates. Hey, I'll do the dishes this week. You do the dishes next week. But one thing that happens when you're sleeping is that your nose gets stuffed up and you're like, do I have a cold? Is anything going wrong with me? Is there something I need to know? Well, there's a simple solution to this. The simplest reason for unexplained nighttime congestion is that when you lie in bed, blood flow increases to your head. More blood flow to your head, that means more blood in the vessels that line your nasal passage. Similar to what happens when you hang upside down. When blood vessels become engorged, they push fluid into surrounding tissue, causing swelling and congestion. guys, we understand this. Despite the absence of excess mucus, this inflammation of the nose is called rhinitis. Yeah, rhinitis. I'm going with that one. Take 2. Lying horizontally also makes it hard for your sinuses, which will always have a small amount of mucus in them, to drain naturally because you're fighting gravity. So if you can imagine that might make your stuffy nose even worse. So by propping your head up on the bed, you are already one step ahead of the problem. Manipulating your sleep positions with pillow, for example, is one of the best ways to avoid a stuffy nose. It's possible if you want to avoid sleeping on your... if possible, if you want to... No, I'm picking my nose here. You want to avoid sleeping on your back as well, because it could block and narrow your airways by making it harder to breathe, especially if you have obstructive sleep, like sleep apnea or something like that. So your home's also filled with tiny and mostly invisible irritants and aggregates. Researchers found that 99% of nearly 7,000 homes they collected dust from had at least one of 8 common allergies in there as well, from a dog or cat dander. Proteins shed by cockroaches, mice, I know, here we go, mice, rats, or mold are 2 types, and 2 types of dust mites, according to a 2017 study. Overall, 74% of homes that had 3 and 6 allergens. Now, here's something funny. My wife and I had the floors. We have natural hardwood floors in our house. They're white. I think they're white oak, I believe is what they are. We had a roof leak, kind of leaked on the floor, stained the floor a little bit. And we're like going, all right, fix the roof leak. And then we had to have the floors resurfaced. And when I say we had a leak, probably, it damaged a spot of the floor about the size of a dinner plate. But it was in the kitchen, it was underneath the rug. And I'm like, going, I'm not living in this house knowing that stain's under there. Like a water stain. It's like brown or whatever. Called the insurance company. They said, yeah, no problem. We'll take care of that too. $4,000 later, they came in and just sanded the whole entire house. Everywhere there was wood, because everything's connected. There's no breaks, there's no thresholds or anything. And so I tell you that to tell you this, there was dust in the house. Now, granted, they do have vacuums and stuff that are on the sanders to adhere and draw that in, but there's still some that escapes. And so we put cheap air filters in there to, as the AC's running and stuff, to capture a lot of that stuff. Well, we forgot to change one of the air filters I think we had 3 returns in the house, and we forgot to change one of them. And man, every morning we'd wake up and we'd have goop in our eyes and all that stuff. So there you go. Change your filters. Do that. Change your filters. And there's a thing back and forth. If you have one of the higher filtrations, then you're suffocating your AC. If you have a lower filtration, all that crap's going in the AC and damaging the AC. Either way, it's both sides of the fence as far as your AC. Now, one side of the fence that I know we can all get on is hangovers. Nobody wants to have a hangover. Everyone likes to have the fun. Nobody wants to pay the price at the end of the week or end of the day or end of your little party get-togethering. Right now, no more alcohol hangovers thanks to a new magic medicine. Now, hold on. I know everyone ears is perking up. Alcohol hangovers could be a thing of the past. No more liver damage for those who enjoy beer, wine, and spirits. This sounds good to be true, but however, according to a new study, this reality is much closer than you think. Since it's going to dawn of education. All right. In groundbreaking studies published this week in the microbiology spectrum, the Chinese researcher described their approach to reporting promising results in experiments on mice. The treatment reduced alcohol absorption, prolonged alcohol tolerance, and shortened the animal's recovery time after exposure to alcohol. The probiotic has not been tested on humans yet, though. However, authors believe that it could provide similar benefits this way. This will offer a new way to reduce alcohol-induced health problems such as liver problems in general. Meng Dong, PH, a Chinese academic scientist, Institute of Zoology, who contribute to the study, stated that clinical applications might be extended beyond alcohol-related conditions. Here's a quote. We believe that sorry, I had to do that. We believe that genetically engineered probiotics will provide new ideas for treatment of liver disease, she says. The metabolized alcohol in the human body primarily used for forms of enzymes called alcohol dehydrogenase. Take that one. Offer some variants and more effective than others. Some studies have found that the form called ADH1B, found primarily in East Asian and Polynesian populations, is 100 times more active than other variants. I've been burping up onions all day. Previous studies on mice show that the viral vectors genetically engineered to express ADH1B can accelerate alcohol breakdown. However, researchers have not proven this approach to be safe in humans yet. So here we go. Testing. Motivated by these findings, Dong and her colleagues look for a safer delivery method. They focus on probiotic, these words, Lactococcus, laxid, and bacterium, often used in fermentation. They used a molecular cloning which introduced the gene for humans, ADH1B, into bacterial plasmid, which was then introduced to a strain of the L-laxid. Lab tests confirmed that the probiotics secreted an enzyme. To ensure the probiotic would survive against stomach acid, researchers encapsulated it, and then they tested on 3 groups of 5 mice. Each exposed the different levels of alcohol. Untreated mice showed signs of drunkenness within 20 minutes after alcohol exposure. However, the group, these articles are freaking flying around. Can't keep my eyes on you. However, in the group that received the probiotic expressing human ADH1B, half of the mice were still able to turn themselves over after a half hour of exposure of alcohol. A quarter of them never lost their ability to do so. Further tests revealed that the blood alcohol levels in the control group continued to rise 2 hours after exposure, and the comparison in these probiotics treated of mice began to fall. So are they getting rid of the alcohol induced buzz that you're getting to where you don't actually get alcohol drunkenness? I guess I'm not understanding that. You know, if you're getting rid of the buzz, of course, yes, then you won't have the hangover. So you're getting more. Well, then that's no fun. Granted, yes, hangovers are horrible. But, you know, with moderation comes responsibility. I think that's a slogan out there somewhere. Take care of yourself, you know, make sure you drink lots of fluids before you go to bed, and, you know, the Advil or aspirin or whatever you have to take to cure your headache or whatever, or just be responsible. How about that? Just be responsible. I know it's a disease. Everyone has it. Not everyone has it, but, you know, people who have it, you know, there's issues with that. I understand that. But, you know, it's like, why are you depressed? Be happy. I can't. This is what happens. But hopefully they're making breakthroughs over there in China with this new probiotic formula that they're designing in capsule form to help prevent hangovers. All right, guys, when we come back, one more little segment, and we'll let you get back to enjoying the rest of your day. You listen to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks, and the way you do that is go over to ProfitRadio.com, PROPHET radio. Click on social contacts while you're there. Get yourself something for free. You can see the little drop-down menu says free swag. Fill out that little form. We're not going to steal your name or anything like that. We just want to say thank you. Actually, Profit Radio, proud sponsor of Deacon Live, would like to say thank you for listening to us and supporting their live streaming service, and also all the podcasts that are found on Profit Radio. And you can see a bunch of them over there. I host a couple, and you can find that down over at the drop-down menu saying podcast. You can see all the different shows that are over there. Check them out as well. They're fun. Now, a Dutch businessman by the name of Al Palmen, Palmen, unfortunately passed away, or was diagnosed with Alzheimer and had to give up his estate. In the process of getting into his estate, and they're, looking around, he was very, 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 very expensive man. Let's put it that way. They went through all of his different buildings on his estate and found over 230 classic cars that he's been hoarding for the last 40 years. And I say the last 40 years, I think he quit buying them. There's nothing newer in there from the 70s. I don't know if the math is there, but still. A total of 230 vehicles were discovered in 3 barns, including rare Ferraris, Alpines, Mercedes, and BMW, all amassed over a 40-year course. The Dutch collector had 230 classic vehicles, including Fords, Tatras, BMWs, Mercedes, Lincolns, and many, many other, has been discovered in 3 buildings that he previously kept secret from a handful of people, all but for a handful of people. Now, this extensive collection of classic cars is up for sale. Gallery Aldering, I think that's how you pronounce it, recently uncovered the Palmen Barn Find collection in the Netherlands. This extensive lot of classic vehicles, which includes a yellow Lancia B20 that Mr. Palmen acquired about 40 years ago, was assembled by the collector, who had previously dealt in vintage cars before amassing his own personal collection. His knack for finding cars was matched only by his love of privacy. So secretly, Mr. Palmen, that even his neighbors did not know what he was storing in his warehouses. Can we go in there? No, you can't go in there. It's not a good, it's a mess. I got to clean up. I don't know what accent that is, but go with it. Despite asking to poke their noses in on one or more occasions. As a result, few, if any, knew about the existing of the remarkable collection. It wasn't there a movie like that? I think that's what happened in the original Karate Kid. Mr. Miyagi had all these nice custom cars, not custom cars, old classics. Now, for every podcast we have a matching video that goes along with it. You can see me sitting in the studio. You can see all the behind the scenes stuff that goes on here, the nuances that happen here in the studio. I'm going to play this little video right here, and you can see an outline of all the different cars. Oh, I'm going to turn the music off. You can see the outline of all the different cars that are found in here. One of the greatest barn finds ever. Camera 4. We're going to camera 4? There we go. Sorry. So you can see all these different cars that are been collected throughout the years in this thing. Some of them I don't even recognize. Now, it's the Netherlands, so of course the Netherlands has, a whole bunch of different vehicles that aren't found here in the United States, and also manufacturers that aren't found here in the United States. These cars, some of them are like old Model Ts. You can preview all this stuff May 27th through the 30th if you are interested in buying these cars. The auction online starts May 19th. That doesn't make any sense. Online auction starts May 19th. So if you want to be part of history and buying some of these cars, you can check them out at the Gallery Aldering, Aldering, for more information. Switch back to camera 1 so you can see me. Who wants to look at that? So, any interested parties of these vehicles contained in this collection can bid for them at the upcoming Pullman Barn Find auction, which starts online May 19th. Viewing days will be held May 27th, 28th, and 29th, and the auction will be closed in 3 waves on June 5th, 6th, and 7th. So if you want to get yourself on one of these classic cars, now granted, let's put it this way, these cars, I mean, they're bumper to bumper, pardon the pun, parked in this huge, and it's not a garage, 230 cars. It looks like a storage, or a parking garage when you go to like a hotel or a hospital or something like that. And these cars aren't in pristine condition. And I say that only because it looks like they drove them in, parked them, turned the keys, turned the engine off, threw the keys on the seat and walked out. So there's dust on them. I see there's an open sunroof on this one right here. So inside, he didn't take care of them, but they're, little turtle wax and a bar clay or clay bar on there. You can wax them right up and have yourself a nice, now I don't know as far as the fluids and stuff inside, if they're still good to go. How many miles does some of these cars have? That'd be the interesting thing. How many miles are left on this thing? Now, on a side note, a woman, I don't want to say how many miles are left on her, but anyways, a woman, 28 years old, became a single mum, M-U-M. So this is from Down Under. Of 4 after finding a sperm donor on Facebook. A single woman who decided that she did not want to date anymore has opened up about how she got pregnant with the help of social media and without having sex. Brooke Withington from Queensland, Australia, said that she dreamed of having at least 5 children ever since she was a little girl. Amazingly, at age 28, her dream was already becoming true, and she's now the proud sole parent of 2 boys and 3 girls. Her kids, Edward, 8, Gilbert, 6, Odetta, 4, Mabel, 4 months, were all conceived during a relationship that she had since ended. But her 1-year-old daughter, Nora, was born thanks to a sperm donor that she found on Spakebook, on Facebook. She says, after I had my 3rd baby, Odetta, I didn't want to date anymore, she explained, so I was happy and content to be on my own, but I still wanted more children. That's when I decided to go down to the sperm donor bank. That's when I decided to go down the sperm donor route instead. Brooke considered visiting a sperm donor bank, but didn't like the sterile environment and wanted to meet her child's biological father in person. That's when she remembered that she heard a group on Facebook called Sperm Donor Australia. Oh, God. You're right. That's what it's called. It sounded perfect for my situation. I love that you could learn about the donor and actually meet them and know what their personality is like, she says. The mom posted this thing on TikTok. So let me switch cameras here so we can see exactly. Oops, not that one. So we can see exactly what she had going on. So here we go. Hold on, sister. All right, so hold on. Let me go back here. So here's her TikTok video that she's posted explaining what happened.
That's why I'm sharing my journey on how I conceived my daughter by a sperm donor, regardless of how much hate I get, is because when I started this journey and I was looking for a donor, I would have loved to have found a platform that spoke openly about this. The whole process can be daunting because it is definitely out of the ordinary. I'm just so grateful every day I have Nora, and if I can help someone have their Nora, then it will all be worth it. Everyone has different opinions, everyone has different lives, everyone has different circumstances. Absolutely, I have received so much hate from deciding to open up about my story. But I have been able to provide such a happy, loving, stable home for my children. So many people are so quick to judge, but that's on them, that's not on you. I just want to provide insight into my journey so that other people who are in similar circumstances don't feel so alone.
Okay, so I understand that. All right, so, each to his own. But you have to understand, for the children, your mom found you on Facebook. No. I know that sounds horrible as well. So this is a guy from the, what was it called? Sperm Donation Australia. This is one of the representatives here, so I'm going to blow him up a little bit so we can see him and see what he has to say. Oh, got to turn the volume up on that. There you go. All right, here we go. Let's go like that. Back to the...
Hello, my name is Kyle Gordy. I'm from Los Angeles, California, 31 years old, and I do some accounting work. Currently, I have 49 children and another 10 to 11 on the way. And if women want to reach out to me, typically they contact me through my Instagram.
He's got an Instagram that says sperm donor, and then whatever his name, I can't see it underneath the thing here. Whatever's...
The first couple I donated to was an acquaintance of mine. We were talking. They wanted to have a child, but they didn't want to go to sperm bank because they felt like they wouldn't get to know the biological father or have the option of the child meeting the biological father at least until 18. So I talked to them, and we agreed I would donate to them. So they came to my house. I brought them the cup of sperm. They injected it in the backseat of their car with a syringe and injected it. And 2 weeks later, we found out they're pregnant. Now they have a 7.5-year-old by me and a 4.5-year-old. I never had any children of my own, and, relationships never really worked out. And I know that, people go together, they have children, they break up, and that has a very large psychological effect on the child. This way, we were always friends. We never had issues. From the beginning, they knew what was happening, and
I don't know, buddy. I don't know if I could do that or anyone could do that. Hey, I'll get a sperm donor off Facebook. I mean, I've heard. Hold on, because there's so many problems just with the marketplace, with scams and everything going on, and you want to now look for sperm donors on a Facebook group? All right, well, each to his own is what she says. So, cheerio, and with a cherry on top, I guess. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to let you get back to enjoying the rest of your day. Make sure you follow us on your YouTube channels. Search for Deacon Live Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe over there, and you can follow us on Facebook as well. The way you find all these links is go to Prophet Radio, proud sponsor of Deacon Live. That's PROPHET Radio. Click on social contacts, and while you're over there, get something for free. We have some, you know what? Son of a bitch. I'm going to have to fix that.
Wait.
Oh, well.
Come back.
Get yourself something for free, and you can be podcast famous. At the bottom of the page says Be Hers, so check that out as well. All right, guys, on that note, my name is the Deacon saying good night and good night. Bye. See you later. Oh, I forgot I had the mute on the channel. Son of a bitch.